You know that feel when everybody else finally catches up to what you've been saying all along? Well, I've got that right now. Well, we've all heard that story by now where Kim Jong-un supposedly had his ex-girlfriend killed because she had a sex tape and then supposedly sold it. And then he supposedly had her killed with a machine gun along with some other people and then had their families jailed for the supposed guilt by association laws. Of course, as usual, there's no actual proof of it, and the media runs it as though it's truth. Except now there's a very strange thing where Business Insider, talking about Chosun Il-bo, who broke the story citing certain Chinese sources which they didn't identify, they now got Chad O'Carroll, which is the editor for nknews.org, with both of them going out saying that you really can't trust this and that there's no real source for what's being said, which sounds very strange. These rumors start with the unnamed and unverified sources in the South Korean media, and for the most part, they are not true and impossible to prove. They usually turn out to be wrong a few months later, by which point no one has noticed and everyone has forgotten the story anyway. I swear I'm usually the one who actually points this out. But wait a minute. Isn't this the editor of nknews.org who I have found in the past seemingly completely fabricating stories against the DPRK? And isn't this an anti-North Korean news source that frequently repeats and backs up these claims that can't be verified? It's interesting to notice that Chad O'Carroll and Business Insider are saying what I've been saying all along, that there's really nothing to these claims whatsoever. Although it's interesting, not particularly referring to them, but people in general, when I say there's no source for this, it doesn't seem to be real at all, they accuse me of being brainwashed and programmed by the DPRK or being a useful idiot. Yet when these two news organizations that have frequently repeated these, if, as I suspect, have fabricated these, when they say it, it's like all of a sudden, yeah, we need to take a second look as to whether or not there's really sources on this. Like, what the hell? Has nknews.org and Business Insider finally caught up to what I've been saying the whole time? A problem here with what Chad O'Carroll is saying is that it goes on to a certain amount of time and people forget about it and then nobody cares anymore. You see, well, the thing is, people still do care, and they do remember it. We're still supposed to believe that Kim Jong-il supposedly claimed that he invented the hamburger. I mean, that's not true, and it's one of those things that later people would supposedly are supposed to forget about. Yet we're still fed this every single day. We're fed the garbage about unicorns. We're fed all kinds of lies about North Korea. But people aren't forgetting them, as Chad O'Carroll seems to indicate. The truth is, people do believe them, and they do remember them. And these are put out for a reason. These insane stories which can't be verified, which always get taken as truth, except for perhaps this being the first time, is all a part of a deliberate strategy to demonize North Korea. And in case, everyone hasn't noticed, we're supposed to be in huge hostility with them. They're supposed to be our enemy, and we're supposed to believe that they're all crazy and coming to kill us at any second. The point is, we are supposed to believe these claims. We're supposed to remember them, which is why we do. This is done very deliberately. This is one of those things where it's a really, really long weapons of mass destruction kind of lie. This is done deliberately to get the public used to the idea of going to war against North Korea. We're supposed to buy it because it's supposed to justify us doing the things that we do to them, particularly the sanctions. This is all done as part of a greater strategy to get a hold of the resources of the DPRK. This is intended to try to collapse the country and to justify all kinds of things. I mean, this is purely for the benefit of the ruling class. They want the resources that are owned by them. And obviously the DPRK is not really handing them over. It's about possibly getting a cheaper supply of labor and all kinds of imperialist interests like that. What this article by Insider Business seems to just completely ignore is the very class nature of why these lies are spread against the DPRK to begin with. But then again, this is a bourgeois publication. It's not supposed to really question class. It's supposed to reinforce the ruling class. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to rate, comment, subscribe, share on various social media, and if you want, there's some other good videos here you can check out.